After Africa, 2 years there, I went back to the United Kingdom and stayed with Mum and Dad for about a year. And you can imagine living in a small country like England, about the size of Tasmania, doing these small jobs in the local hospitals there. It's claustrophobic after the big wide open spaces of Africa. After a year, someone suggested Australia, so out I came. I went first to Brisbane. That was to do a job for the Queensland state government, their Department of Tuberculosis, doing the chest x-ray surveys all over the state. And I was known as the remote areas radiographer for Queensland. And the first job I had to do after a month in Queensland was go up to the Torres Strait, that area between the top of Australia and Papua New Guinea, on a boat, taking this x-ray equipment, which stripped down into pieces, take it on the boat, all around the islands, setting it up on each island which was inhabited, and x-raying the population there for TB. Now, a tropical paradise, really. We anchored off each island. Sometimes we couldn't get the equipment on shore because it's too dangerous, too rough to take the equipment, so we set up on the back of the boat and brought the people out to the boat. You get 20 people on a little tiny dinghy coming all out there, that much freeboard above the water, and you'd think the whole thing would tip over quite easily. But they seemed to accept it, didn't worry. They clambered on board, and you can imagine that the whole boat is doing that, so the whole x-ray machine is doing the same thing. And this big black fella came on board, and taller than me, and I stood him up there for chest x-ray, and I said, "Now what do you want, colour or black and white?" He says, "I don't care, I'm not prejudiced." Okay, then after about 18 months there, I came down to Melbourne. I wanted to see a bit more of Australia. I went and started work at the Austin Hospital in their x-ray department. And once again, this need for me to be out on my own, doing my own thing, being in charge of what I was doing, because I don't work too well in the big team. I heard about this service which is going around Melbourne to the nursing homes, taking x-rays of people in the nursing homes. So you'd have a van and a little tiny x-ray machine like the vets use, and you carry the machine into the nursing home, take the pictures, bring them out to the van, process them, dipping them into the developer and fixer, and then take them off to the radiologist for reporting. After about a year of that, 4 or 5 years of that, I think it was, that business was sold to an entrepreneur who I wasn't very happy with. I didn't like his ethical practices at all, so I went out on my own, set up my own business. And ultimately I had 2 vans on the road, automatic processing, putting the film into a machine, getting dry films quickly. And the quality of the work which I ended up with was very, very good indeed. And I was proud of that. It was a proprietary limited company. I sat on the board and that sort of thing. I felt pretty good as a managing director of a company. But it didn't survive because I was not really a good businessman. I wasn't cutthroat enough. I was too professional in the work I did. And if you're professional, you need someone behind you looking after the money side of it. Because if I had someone owing me some money, and I went out to try and get this money off people, that leaves a bad taste in the mouth. It's better if you're a professional to be separate from that administrative side. So you can say, "Look, I'm sorry, I understand your problem with the money, but it's not my domain. You have to ring so-and-so about it." That shifts the onus. So you can get on and do the job which you're good at as a professional. Anyway, I left that and went up to Ballarat to work for about 4 years. Then when they heard that I was going to come to Tasmania, to Hobart, they said, "Oh, don't go to Hobart, it's too cold there." Well, that's a load of bull dust, because Ballarat is cold and bleak in the winter and hot and bleak in the summer. And I found Hobart to be beautiful by comparison. I lived first in North Hobart, then in Sandy Bay, and then I moved to Cygnet. And Cygnet is my life now. where I'm more interested in environmental, ecological subjects than I am in the medical side. I've left X-rays behind because the technology moves on. You get old and you're more happy with the old stage technology. I thought I'd leave it to the young people now, and I've got more interesting things to do in life. I think I've got some photographs here of, oh, by the way, yeah, back to Africa. That's one photograph I forgot to think about. You know, when they lie you on the table to take an X-ray, we also stand you up to take an X-ray of the chest. Well, they didn't have a method where we could stand people up against the stand for a chest X-ray when they first arrived in Africa. And I said to someone, well, can't we actually make a stand to do that? And they said, well, what about that old table down in the basement? And as it happened, about 4 or 5 years before, the company supplying stuff from Germany had sent out an X-ray table, which you can just see the corner of there, and it'd been damaged in transit. Pretty big piece of equipment. They didn't take it back to Germany, it would be too expensive. They simply shipped out a brand new one under insurance. And this broken one was left in the basement, and apparently belonged to no one. Everyone disowned it. So I took the mechanism out of that table, and using some handy angle, or Dexian, whichever it was, and made this contraption against the wall. It worked superbly, and about 8 or 10 years after coming to Australia, I met a guy who was still working there in Tanzania in that same hospital. He said they were still using this equipment. And I was quite pleased with that, because it would cost them thousands and thousands of dollars to get something like that shipped out there. Okay, this is Signet, my home in Signet. That is my house. I live in a shipping container, a 20-foot one, and it suits me down to the ground. It's my sort of footprint. I don't like too big a house. Single person, you don't need 3 bedrooms and bathrooms and so on. That suits me. This one here, believe it or not, is my bathroom. I won't tell you how I traverse to the house to the bathroom on mornings. There's no one else about. We'll let that be. Anyway, it's on top of a hill, 450 metres up on the top of the hill. They're looking over the Signet. The wind blows there. Those tall trees make a hell of a noise. And I was quite worried when I first went there, but it works pretty well. And just a little bit more here. This is built of a brick called timbercrete. Timbercrete is a block, man-made block, made of cement, sand and sawdust. And it's just a 200 mil block. You don't need any lining, any framing or any cladding. And it's got good insulation, and it's really, really strong building and a very good protection against bushfire. That's what I've used it. And I've got a bit more to show you on that. I think these next, yeah, there you are, it's a bit closer. And these are my solar panels up here. They give me all my power, which goes into batteries. This one here, which I've got a better close-up of, is my water heater. No, that's the toilet. That's the composting toilet inside. Never smells, absolutely fantastic. You cover everything with sawdust and use no water for flushing. Some people can't believe that it works that, but it really works well. And I built the whole lot of that. By the way, that cistern you see there, which I got from the tip shop, cost me $5. And that contains sawdust now instead of water. That is my grey water system. If you get rid of the toilet waste by composting, you need to deal with your wastewater, the grey water coming from your shower, your bath, the laundry and the kitchen. That comes down here and it's filtered down through this bin and then up through here and out. In the top of that bin I've got mulch. Do you know what I mean by mulch? Like you'd find on the forest floor, the leaves and the bugs and so on, worms. The water goes through that first, then through a sand filter, right the way down to the bottom, and comes out the other end clear and absolutely no smell. And that's a simple way of doing it, my own design. That was my powerhouse. You need an old fridge, which cost me nothing from the tip. I put it in the battery. That's the battery up there, deep cycle battery. That's an inverter, which converts the 12 volts to 240 volts. And that came down through all this system and then out to my shipping container into the bathroom, so I can always switch the light on when I've got power.
How far out of town are you?
8 kilometres. Yeah. So it would have cost 30,000, probably 50,000 now to get power out to my place. And this cost me about 2,000 or 3,000. That's all.
It's a lovely area, Sydney.
It is beautiful. Yeah.
How far away is your nearest neighbour?
I'm sorry?
How far away is your nearest neighbour?
Oh, 200 or 300 yards. Yeah, yes. There's not many people up there, but we look out for each other. You're not living under each other's table, but look out. Pretty rough road. And now, this is my water heating system. I went to Victoria to the junkyard there and found this old gas water heater. It used to be a gas ring underneath there. But the beauty of the gas water heater is that you have this flue that comes right up through the centre of the whole system. So I now make a fire underneath it. Wood, about 5-6 logs of wood, and I get 90 litres of hot water in about half an hour. Much better than solar. You're using solar power via the medium of wood, and it works really well. The whole thing cost me about 30 bucks, I suppose. The council doesn't know a thing about it yet. At least I think they do. That's back to my system, the grey wall system. You see how it comes from the bathroom down there into there. And I've arranged it so if at a later date I want to put one of these proprietary water systems, treatment systems in, that could go in there quite easily. You always leave open options to change things to the way the council wants if necessary. Okay, this is my old toilet system before I built that lovely sort of luxurious thing in the bathroom. So simple. It all goes in the bin, and you put worms in there, composting worms. All you use is sawdust, and in 9 or 10 months the worms will break it down to beautiful compost. Absolutely no smell, absolutely safe, and that goes in the garden for fertilisation. And the beauty of this system is that you're recycling nutrients into the garden, which would normally go into wastewater, into a tip or whatever, never to be touched again. This way, you do it safely, recycling those nutrients. Much more ecologically sound way to do things. That's what I store them. I store them. Once that bin is full, it's not touched again for another 9-12 months. And in that time, the worms work through it and treat it. Very cheap, very, very simple way of doing it. And each bin costs, what, 18-20 bucks at most. So you don't need thousands of dollars to do this. Again, the council would not like it because it's not written up in book anywhere, declared safe. I know it's safe. That's why I don't tell them about it. But the object of the laws is to keep us living healthily, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm meeting. That's what I put up. Use it as a squat toilet or use a seat if you prefer. You see, you can move the seat over there if you want to. And do what you have to do, then cover everything, including paper with sawdust, then replace the lids, close metal clips. That's all you need to do. Easy.
We kept the system of fire.